Right there, Keaton Beach, right up there. Guys, before you go to sleep, or what are you going to do? Let's find out the name of the dog. Somebody get a hold of Aaron. I want to find out the name of the dog. We were trying to get that from him. 120 mile per hour winds now. It's moving to the north-northeast. Look at that easterly quadrant in there now. At 18 miles per hour, pressures come up. It's weakening. Winds will start to come down. They already have come down, but they'll continue to come down. But that's 120 mile per hour winds here. And watch as it moves across Georgia. Now is a Cat 2. 100 mile per hour winds, and that's later this afternoon. And then this evening, it's towards Savannah and then up towards Charleston, basically as a hurricane. It'll be weakening into a strong tropical storm by the time it gets over to Charleston. Myrtle Beach will actually deal with it pretty good. They're going to have a pretty good storm up there. The red Jeep. I don't know if you know about the red Jeep that got stuck in the sand in Myrtle Beach in a hurricane. Well, we might get another red Jeep. Somebody's going to go, it's Myrtle Beach, right? Somebody's going to go out there and try it. 60 mile per hour winds just off of Beaufort, Morehead City, Ocracoke, and then that's going to continue to push off out to sea. And that's happening during the day on Thursday. There's some opportunity for some of the moisture to get thrown back our way, but it wouldn't come back as a developed system, so we're not worried about that. I think this is the last 24-hour loop that I put on here. Look at this thing coming up the coastline. Kind of wibble-wobbled a little bit, went back to the west, went back to the right, and then now here you can see it went to the northeast, north-northeast, and made landfall. 100, what was the wind? 125, that's right, yeah. Because, and look, here's the deal. 3, Cat 4, Cat 3. See the blue? The blue right there is Cat 4, and right before landfall, it got down to Cat 3. Not big, not much of a difference, right? We still have all of this rain to deal with, and that will come in. I think it's actually pushing further in. If you look at these clouds, you notice obviously they're carrying the rain, and they're getting a little bit further off towards the east. This is 1 minute high-resolution radar from the GO-16 satellite, and you can clearly see the eye, but then watch, it starts to fill in a little bit here, and then there goes landfall. Look at the convection. Watch right here where landfall is. 7:45 was landfall. Watch 7:30 right here. Boosh. It still has good thunderstorms on it as it's making landfall now. But again, it will continue to fall apart. Here's a look at the radar. As I mentioned, this will continue to stream in. I think most of this will be I-4 southward for the next several hours. In fact, there's some dry air getting in here. Now, just because you don't see rain out here doesn't mean there won't be any. We will continue to see waves of this coming through, but this heaviest stuff is going to continue to march right across towards Orlando, towards Cape Canaveral, up towards Ormond Beach, Daytona, and you can see the heavier line that's now moving in towards northwestern Hillsborough County. I'll show you that coming up. This is a live look at the radar. We have a tornado watch from about I-4 northward through 3 o'clock this afternoon, but that doesn't mean we can't get a spin up in any of these. So we're going to be watching all of them for you because we've seen some quick spin ups there. Very fast moving showers and storms here coming onto the beach. These are the type that can train over the same area, right? Indian Rocks Beach, Madeira Beach, right there, getting the same thing. That's what adds up. That's what causes flash flooding. So that's where we're at now in the game. Now, I'll talk about winds coming up, but you see how the flow is directly on shore. The wind is that way, and it's holding the water in. I think most of the surge is about as high as it's going to get because the winds will be coming down, but it's not going to come down quickly. So it'll come down slowly here. Very heavy rainfall now headed towards the Arcadia area. Fishhawk, Brandon, some rain, mainly East Brandon, and all of Fishhawk will get some of that, and that'll get up to Plant City right after that. Arcadia, right up Highway 17 to Wauchula. Showers and a couple thunderstorms coming through there. You can see this is 275 to 75 going all the way up to Bushnell. Pretty good shower and thunderstorm activity there, but look, it gets a lot more spotty. Port Richey, Trinity, Tarpon Springs, some heavy downpours still coming through. And if you look at that band, you can see it's still pretty heavy there. And then another one that's actually coming down through parts of central Pinellas right now. It's going to get over Clearwater and down to Largo. So surge levels, I just went and checked some of these numbers. Cedar Key is actually now up to 8 feet. And so I look at a tide gauge, and it tells you what the predicted tide is. It tells you what it is. And you can add those and find out how much the surge is or the difference, and that's what I've done here. So St. Pete, 4.5 feet surge. East Bay, 5 foot. East Bay is East Tampa, where the cruise ships are. Port Manatee, that's down Piney Point. Remember Piney Point? South end of the Skyway, that's about where Port Manatee is, 4 1/4. And then Clearwater Beach, 4 3/4. Cedar Key, again, was at 8 feet. Most of what I've seen is starting to level off. Even with the tide coming up, the wind's coming down a little bit, and so it's going to hold a lot of it at bay. There's Mahaffey Theater. That white line right there is the seawall, not doing its job today. Grass, sidewalk, 3rd Avenue, 3rd Street. Actually, 3rd Street right there. That's downtown St. Pete off in the distance right there. And you look at the palm trees, I mean, they're still blowing, but they were blowing a lot harder earlier, especially when we had some good rain bands coming through. Downtown Tampa, you can see this is Bayshore Boulevard. Platte Street Bridge is right there, underwater, Bayshore Boulevard. And even as you get towards the bridge, it's over there coming off of Davis Islands. That's Davis Islands that you can see right there. American Social, you got Jackson's right here. That little cement platform right there is covered with water. This has been sitting like that for a while. It will gradually come down. And then let's go over to our TV station. And this one I've got kind of pointing up to the sky because we actually had a couple bright spots here earlier, but you can see mostly cloudy skies. It's tough to see there. That's Gandy Boulevard. And we were talking about there were some cars on it. I actually saw quite a few, and then haven't seen a whole lot after that. So it is still fairly quiet. I've been looking at 275, and there's quite a few cars out on 275 in the downtown Tampa area. So here are the winds now. They've come down, mostly sustained in the 20s, 31 mile per hour wind and 30 mile per hour wind in Venice. But look at the wind gusts the last hour. They're in the 30s, 39 in Tampa, 39 in Davis Islands. And the peak wind gusts that we've seen so far, 58 in St. Pete, 58 in Tampa, 67 in Sarasota. Now, what's going to happen the rest of the afternoon is the wind will gradually come down. We'll still keep some scattered showers and storms. As the wind gradually comes down through 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, so will those water levels that are associated with the storm surge. All right, welcome back. Frank, Caitlin, how are you guys?